When Chihiro lands in front of Yubaba and correctly guesses where her parents are, the occupants of the bathhouse cheer, and we cheer along with them. But why? What has this character gone through, and how has she changed to the point where we, as the audience, go from not knowing a single thing about her to rooting for her to figure out which pigs her parents are to save them? I think that the answer is that Chihiro is a perfect character. The character that begins the film one way and ends the film another way. The kind of change that we as the audience praise and cheer. But why? What about change makes a perfect character? Oscar Wilde said in Soul of Man Under Socialism, "The only thing that one really knows about human nature is that it changes. Change is the one quality that we can predicate of it." While Wilde was talking about systems of government here, he makes a very important point that applies to much more. The fact that human nature changes is essential to storytelling. In fact, change is one of the key elements that makes an interesting character in a film. We love to see characters that grow and change. It's one of the aspects that help us relate to them. Think Oskar Schindler in Schindler's List, Tony Stark in Iron Man, Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road, Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, or Michael Corleone in The Godfather. All of these characters go through some kind of change. This begs the question, if change is the quality that shows human nature, how do we go about showing that change? In The Art of Dramatic Writing, Leos Agri states that a character stands revealed through conflict. Conflict begins with a decision. What we want to see from our characters is who they are. We're shown who they are when they make a decision, thereby showing their true selves when they are in conflict with another character. Oftentimes, a character will make decisions one way as the film begins, and they will make their decisions in another way as the film progresses. So let's take Chihiro, the protagonist of Spirited Away. As the film begins, Chihiro is on her way to her new home, a decision that has been made most likely by her parents, and, as we can see from Chihiro's apathy, she doesn't agree with this decision. But since she's 10, she doesn't have a say. After making a wrong turn, Chihiro and her parents end up in front of an abandoned amusement park. After a series of events, Chihiro's parents are morphed into pigs, and Chihiro meets a young man named Haku, who warns her that she must get over the river before the night falls. When she fails at that, Haku has to rescue her. From the beginning of the film, Miyazaki demonstrates that Chihiro is a passive character. Passive as in, she reacts to whatever is happening in her environment. It isn't until she learns from Haku that she is required to get a job at the bathhouse that Chihiro is forced to become an active character. Chihiro meets the boiler man Kamaji, whom she asks for a job. Kamaji emphatically states that he doesn't need help and ignores Chihiro. It isn't until Chihiro helps one of Kamaji's workers that he sees her desperation and her struggle. But even in this scene, Miyazaki is showing the audience that Chihiro is beginning to change. She's still reacting to the worker being crushed, that's why she helps it, but she's started to become active. She successfully gets a job from the sorceress who runs the bathhouse, Yubaba, and begins her life as a worker for Yubaba. Several days later, when Chihiro sees Haku as a dragon being attacked, she rescues him. She can see that he has been grievously injured, and when he flies up to the top of the bathhouse, Chihiro makes the decision to follow him. When she arrives, she finds Zenoba's twin sister, who reveals that Haku stole a cursed seal from her. Haku attacks Zenoba, who disappears, and Haku and Chihiro fall all the way to the boiler room. Chihiro forces Haku to eat a magical emetic dumpling, and he regurgitates the seal and a black slug onto the floor. Chihiro decides to go to Zenoba's house to apologize for Haku and return the seal to her. And this is where Miyazaki shows us that Chihiro has come full circle as a character. Chihiro is no longer a passive character. She's made the decision to go to apologize for Haku and return the seal. Chihiro at the beginning of the film would never have made that decision. She was incapable of it. Only now, after having been changed as a character, can Chihiro be so active and choose this task. And it's only when we arrive at the conclusion of the film, when we see the effects of Chihiro's choice, that we can see why she is an example of a perfect character. Chihiro begins the movie not making decisions, she reacts to them in a passive way. She reacts out of fear or need, as in the case of getting a job. But as the story progresses, Chihiro begins to act out of an active way. She chooses to go to Zenoba in order to save Haku. No longer is she reacting out of fear, she's acting out of selflessness. Chihiro makes decisions that lead to conflict, and through this conflict, Chihiro's character is revealed. As she changes throughout the course of the film, Chihiro goes from a passive, indecisive young girl to an active, strong character. A perfect character.